back to Football 301. I'm your host, Nate Tice. Special episode today. It's Thanksgiving week. So we're doing this a little bit early, and we're doing kind of a combined episode here, hitting a few different things. We're going to do some Monday Night Football thoughts to start the show. We're going to do a 2026 NFL draft primer, because I know some of you sickos are already looking at it, and also some of your teams might have 1, 2, or 3 wins in the win column, so might as well start peeking towards that draft and see who's interesting, so who can help your team. We're also going to look ahead at the Thanksgiving games, do a little cheat sheet there to help me do all that. My guy, I would say every Tuesday, but no, he's my every Thursday guy, but we're combining these shows, and every Sunday guy, Mr. Four Verts, Charles McDonald. How you doing today, Chuck?
Doing all right. You know, the flying has still been a nightmare this year. So we were supposed to get home yesterday, and then somehow a flight that was supposed to be at like 10 a.m. yesterday got delayed to 1:30 p.m. today. So we're going to try and get through this real quick so that my mom doesn't kill me later today, you know? But other than that, I'm doing a lot better than Bryce Young. I can promise you that.
Yeah. Then the same window of flight, huh? Just a whole, you know, 24 hours later.
Jeez. Yeah, like, what the hell's going on here?
That's a delay. I thought you just had an early flight, and that's what.
No, might need some air traffic controllers, the government to work. That'd be nice. We'll try and figure that out.
That'd be nice. Or, you know, dress nicely, as they say. That's what they say the issue is. People aren't dressing nice enough at airports. They say that'll help it all out. So, so make sure you take that hat off, like I know you will. That's apparently the key issue to all this. No, but have a safe flight, have a happy Thanksgiving, and let's get into the show, because I know we got a cruise. So we're also going to do a Black Friday game. I want to mention that as well. Thanksgiving and Black Friday game for our little cheat sheet. But we'll start with Monday Night Football. Panthers, 49ers. 49ers win this game 20-9 pretty handily, because the Panthers offense couldn't get going against this 49ers defense that is banged up, but has a lot of interesting young players, and they're playing really hard under Robert Saleh. I want to give them a lot of props. But the Panthers defense got 3 picks on Brock Purdy pretty early on, but still pull off this game because they just leaned on to CMC. Any thoughts on this game, as the 49ers are cruising to the playoffs? Like, I mean, they're in the playoffs, unless they just lose every game for the rest of the way, which I don't think they will. So they are a playoff team, the 49ers, in the tough NFC right now.
I mean, that was just pathetic by the Panthers. I really like. It was. If you're a Panthers defensive player, there's no way you should show up to work today. Like, you got three interceptions in the first half, and they got 3 points out of it. And like 2 of them, you were back in 49ers territory. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of pathetic. And I've been on this thing with the Panthers this year. Like, they're not actually good. I know that they're 6-6, and they had a chance to be like 7-5, and I still would have said it's not a good football team because of stuff like today. I mean, you lose to the 49ers. We weren't really competitive at all. They lost to the Saints a couple weeks ago. The Bills absolutely blasted them. That's not really a good football team. And I think we saw it again today. Like, this is one of those teams where the fans look back and they're like, damn, finished 7-10 that year. We really need to finish like 4-13 because they might end up running it back, but it wasn't a good game for Dave Canales. It wasn't a good game for Bryce Young. Just get back to the drawing board entirely on offense. Even T-Mac, he had probably his worst game of the season yesterday. That was rough.
Yeah. He had to drop. I know. And a nice touchdown. The touchdown was really nice. But yeah, he had to drop. There's so much. There's good with the Panthers offense, but that was not it last night. And I also do think, too, is that, I don't know, the Bryce Young thing. It's just like there's so many limitations with that offense. They can't throw the ball consistently down the field. Like, any kind of pressure kind of just unravels the whole play. He finished with a 13.5 QBR on top of 2 picks. And I don't know, it's just tough to watch sometimes, because it's just like I want to see it with just not Andy Dalton, but somebody else, just to see what that offense looks like, because I do think T-Mac's interesting. I think Jalen Coker's interesting. I think the run game's cool. I mean, the interception in the end zone was really disappointing, because, again, that's been my thing with Bryce Young, is that I get it, and people won't get mad at me because they think, you know, I only prefer quarterbacks that are 6'5" and 230 pounds. But that helps. But it's more just, if you're going to be a smaller guy, you're either going to be a really good creator, really good from when on the stuff that you're on track, I should say, as well. And that's what, if Bryce Young, that's how he's supposed to win. And then there he is moving outside the pocket, and he's throwing a pick in the back of the end zone because he throws it late. And it's like, well, man, like you're supposed to be really smart and understand timing. Like just get rid of the ball. Like, I don't know. It's just those little rookie mistakes, it feels like. And he's not a rookie. And on top of it, what his calling card was supposed to be was he was supposed to be a supreme operator. I will repeat a story that I heard about Bryce Young coming into the draft. He seems like a great guy, everything, but multiple scouts, I would say 4 different people I talked to, and probably more, all had the same story. So they obviously heard it from the same source. Was Bill O'Brien wouldn't stop talking about Bryce Young is the smartest quarterback he's been around other than Tom Brady. Just like that's what he just kept telling everybody. But then when I watch him, there's like all these mistakes and all this chaos and all this stuff. And I'm like, well, then what is he? Like, because I know what because of the size limitations, the speed limitations, arm limitations. I don't know. It's just very frustrating to watch. On the 49ers side, I don't know. Purdy, the first half, it looked like, okay, Shanahan was trying to run the offense like he runs the offense. The first drive was hysterical. Just CMC like 7 straight times just down the field, like against his old team. But then, I don't know, Purdy's arm was never been great, but it doesn't seem like he can really drive on the ball. So you got a lot of fluttering. And I mean, he got 3 picks. J.C. Horn had some awesome picks on him. And then the second half, they just deflated the ball and just ran it. But no, that was just kind of my thoughts of the game. Like where the 49ers have a 90% chance now to make the playoffs, 89% according to New York Times. And I'm just, they're a curiosity to me more than anything. I'm excited to watch that game back because I'm excited to watch some of these young defensive guys go. But just kind of more of questions, I think, that I have definitive statements about that game.
Yeah, the only thing I know is no more Panthers primetime games. Punt them off until they get serious again. That was brutal. There's a reason why we don't put that team on prime time. There's a reason why we don't put them on prime time. And even my Panthers buddies, friends would text me that last night. Like, see, yep, that's why you don't put us in front of the world, because we are boring and we're bad.
Not like this. Not like this. Robert Mays, my co-host, used to have a funny line about the Bears when he would say, like, when they would be like, they'd be playing prime time, it'd be like having an embarrassing family member. Like, just please control yourselves. Like, just please don't get ahead. Don't drink too much. Like, don't do anything. That's kind of how it feels with the Panthers right now a little bit too. But again, I want to shout out some of these 49ers young guys, like, before we move on. Like Jair Brown has been cool. Malik Mustafa. I love their young safeties. I really like Upton Stout, their slot guy. I think those 3 have been just really fun young players for them. And I know they're not getting any pressure up front. Like, I know they tried to trade for Keon White and stuff, but I just want to, like, once this team gets back fully healthy next year, it's like they're going to be really, really cool because of all these young defenders that have really stepped up. Oh, and then D. Winters has had some cool moments too, their linebacker. All right. That's it for Monday Night Football. 49ers win that game. 90% shot to make the playoffs. Now, we're going to move on, like some fan bases are, to the 2026 NFL Draft. You and I have a mock draft coming out soon. Should be coming out tomorrow, which is Wednesday. We're recording this Tuesday morning. So let's do a primer. Our favorite players in the draft process so far. We're doing a mock, but we just kind of wanted to highlight some guys we wanted to talk about some of the key players, all the positions. It's an interesting class. I would say there's a lot of definitive, hard blue chip guys. There's a couple, but there's a lot of good, I would say, in this draft class, a lot of the positions. But, let's just highlight some of the guys that we like. Charles, where do you want to start? We have quarterbacks, offensive skill guys. Anybody you want to talk about to start off the show?
I think after that Notre Dame Syracuse game, Jeremiah Love is a good place to start off. Back-to-back weeks in a row that he scored a touchdown on his first touch of the game. And look, that Syracuse game is not the best example. Like, if you're looking for like a competitive team to play against, because Notre Dame, they were up 21-0 before they even ran one offensive play. 2 pick sixes plus a punt return, a 22-yard punt return for a touchdown. Like, when I saw that in the box score, I was like, what the hell? A 22-yard punt return for a touchdown? And then I watched it. And yeah, the ball went about 2 yards past. Yeah, it went about 2 yards past the line of scrimmage where it was caught by an up back, and he ran it back for a touchdown. Like,
it was hysterical.
So, yeah, just an absolute slaughtering. But like, he's really good, man. I really don't mind if you think I think they're like really different styles of players. But if you think he's just as good as Genty last year, I don't find that opinion to be offensive. Like I think Gentry's got like that rare, even on like these crappy ass like Raiders team, or this crappy ass Raiders team, you still see like the contact balance and the strength. And you just know like if they can get an offensive line, that's a pick that's going to work. And then, but Love he's got the home run ability. I think that Gentry probably won't have in the NFL. I mean, man, he can really get moving at his size once he gets into the open field. So he seems like the unchallenged RB1 this year. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to Notre Dame kind of getting back into the playoffs and seeing who they draw as far as just like a big time opponent, because I imagine it's going to be a little bit tougher than Syracuse. They're going to need to lean on Love. They're going to try to get back to the championship game where, man, like I don't know if they have the offense to do it, but defense seems to be coming along and they're playing a lot better than earlier in the season. And I still wonder if Al Golden regrets moving from Notre Dame to Cincinnati.
No, they're dang good. Yeah, why is he in Cincinnati? I know. That's still one of the things of some biggest curiosities of this entire football season. No, Notre Dame, they can roll. Last year, of course, I was high on Riley Leonard, but it was a really cool run game. Whereas Riley Leonard, who's an excellent runner, like he's still underrated as an athlete, with Love, and then I would even say running back 2 in this class is another Notre Dame running back. It's Jadarian Price. Jadarian Price. He's probably running back 2. So I think Notre Dame has the top 2 running backs in this draft class. So like I think those are the 2 top 50 guys to me. Arizona State's got a running back I like, Raleek Brown. He was a transfer from USC. He's really explosive. I don't have a definitive grade on him, but running back wise, Love is definitively number 1, probably a top 10 player in this class. Like unanimously. I mean, if you want to say running back value, no matter what, a first round grade, that's what Love gets. And that's like, he's a bell cow. He's explosive. He can catch. It's everything you want from a guy you're drafting in the first round. It's the guys that can, I mean, when you're watching Jahmyr Gibbs take it to the house over and over, it's like, yeah, I want that. I want that in my backfield. Yeah. Like that's what Love can do. He has that kind of game breaking speed. Yeah. So Notre Dame's good. They're in the FEI ratings. They're 4th in the FEI ratings. They had 9th offense, 5th defense. They're a good team. All right. I'll stay on skill players before we hop into quarterbacks. Interesting receiver class. I had a list of guys here that I wanted to touch on. These are the guys that I had in my top 30. So I'll start with Jordan Tyson, who's my receiver 1 from Arizona State, transferred from Colorado, really explosive, really good ball skills, good size, not like a giant X or anything. I would say maybe he's a Z, but he is just an explosive play guy. And I really love his ball skills and his ability. He has an ability to double jump and really make plays above him, outside of his catching frame. He was a transfer from Colorado. I would say one blemish with him is he has some injury history. So that is something that's going to be kind of keep an eye on, like how the NFL feels with that, especially when there's so many guys in his tier. To me, I think that these 4 guys to me are the first round receivers. So the next guy is Cornell Tate from Ohio State. And I think that his ball skills are great. I liked him this summer. I had him in my initial top 30, and he's really risen anyways. But no, I really like him. Next Ohio State guy until the real Ohio State receiver comes out next year, Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah.
But Cornell Tate is a top 20 guy in his own right. Like I think not even just for me, I think I had him like 12 or 13 on my last big board, but I think for everybody, just a good player. I just really like him. His ball skills are just so good. He's smooth. It's got some Devontae Smith to him as far as movement ability. He's a little bigger than Devontae, but that's how he moves like. I really like him. Denzel Boston was the other guy from Washington that I like, big X receiver. And he takes punt returns at 6'4", 215, which I always think is significant. It takes him to the house. He got hurt a couple weeks ago against Wisconsin. I haven't seen an update on that. But I really, really like him. He's actually my receiver 2, right above Tate. But I think all these guys are in the same tier. So it's kind of what flavor you like. But I like all of these guys. Like I really like this receiver class, which is, I thought going into the summer or out of the summer, a lot of people are like, oh, it's a down receiver year. I was like, I don't know, guys. There's a couple good ones here. And here we are. And then the 4th one's Mekhi Lemon from USC. Built like JSN. He's slot only, but actually JSN is probably helping him out for me, because now I don't want to call anybody slot only if you have the ball skills like this, because JSN could just do everything everywhere. built like him, good route runner, good ball skills. I know he has a lot of fans, but all of these guys to me are top 20, top 25 guys, like pretty definitively. And then there's a couple other guys, we could talk about, but those guys I really like, really like, actually, if you like the receiver position. Have you seen any of these guys, Chuck, or any other receivers you want to bring up?
Nope, they're not real football players until like March. There's too many of them. They're a dime a dozen now. I know they're all incredible, but when you're all good, you're all mid.
That's it. Then we get anyone from 20, pick 20 to 40. Look how many all pros are in round two. That's why I always want to say. It's like when I see Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua, and everyone's like, they got two receiver ones. That's a second round pick and a fifth round pick. Like you look at all the best receivers. It's like not a lot. Like, even like the Titans, like it's like, yeah, I want to give you guys a receiver, but not in the top 10. Like trade back, like they could be set up for that. Like I know they need juice, but it's like I don't want to take it early. The other receivers that are interesting, Chris Bell from Louisville, he might sneak up here. He's big and fast and catches everything, but he's so raw. But he's just so explosive. He's what Treylon Burks was supposed to be from Arkansas. Like that's why but Chris Bell can actually play football. Like he's not like what Burks was. Where Burks was just a nothing. I know that sounds mean, but it's true. Like Burks to get even play football, man. Like they had to tell him every route. Yeah. He was getting whenever you get the special signal or they're giving you the routes, something's up. Casey Concepcion from Texas A&M, Jeremy Bernard from Alabama kind of route out the interesting group. The other pass catcher, though, I want to get on Kenyon Sadiq from Oregon. Yeah, he is. I have him as a top 10 player. He's a tight end. I think he's an absolute monster. That actually is athletic enough to split out and do all the cool stuff like that. You have to beat a safety, beat a linebacker. Easily does that. And also a good blocker, even though if he's not the biggest guy. He's gritty and willing to get in there. I love Sadiq. Might be my favorite player in this draft. Like, if I'm being honest, I think he's awesome. And I think he's a top 10 guy, pretty locked in, top 12, something of that sort. But he is a really, really good player. I don't know if you've seen Sadiq yet, but he's a lot of fun.
Yeah, tight ends can be real people before the combine. You block. So I've seen Sadiq. He's a good player. And he seems like someone's.
You heard it here first. Tight ends are real people.
So, I'm going to go stand out there 40 yards away from the quarterback and play this cheese-ass wide receiver. Now, you can be real after the combine. Honestly, there's too many of them. But Sadiq's he's cool. And what I like about Sadiq is, like, it looks like he clearly has got, like, rooms to get stronger and like bigger as he moves along, like we've seen with some of these recent guys in the NFL. Like the young guys, shocking, but they still kind of keep growing, getting bigger and stronger once they get into the NFL. I think JSN is a perfect example of that because he like physically is just a totally different player than he was at Ohio State. So I'm all in Sadiq. Like he seems like one of those high floor, high upset kind of guys.
Yeah, no, that's how the fact that he's a gritty blocker and he like. His route running is getting real, and he's like, he can catch vertically. It's like, okay, you can kind of do anything that the NFL team will ask. That's exciting. And he's got yak ability. His teammate might be, Jeremiah Johnson, he's really good too. I don't know if he's going to declare, but he's another good tight end as well. So it's funny, the running back and tight ends, Oregon and Notre Dame come locked in. And then we talked about pass catchers and running backs. I know only one anyone cares about is quarterbacks. For me, Fernando Mendoza is my QB1. I mean, he's had as good of a season as you could hope if you had him as your QB1 going into the season like I did. I think he's just I'm actually curious what you think, because we've in a group chat, we've kind of talked back and forth about him and everything. And I've already talked a lot about him, kind of on the Matt Ryan, Jared Goff archetype to me as a quarterback. Okay athlete, can create a little bit, just accurate. And that's why his timing and his accuracy are just great. And that's how he wins. And he doesn't have an overwhelming arm, but I think he has a pretty good arm. But he can make all the throws because he throws it all on time. So he gets rid of the ball and maximizes it as well. Tough as all get out as well. A little goofy, and I'm fine with that. But hey, if you're tough and you score touchdowns, man, no one cares. But Mendoza, man, he's my QB1. I really still like him. I think he's just had an excellent year. But I'm curious what your thoughts are on Mendoza, Chuck, when you've seen him.
I like him. I don't know. To me, he looks like pretty easy QB1. I've watched a lot of the Indiana games this year. And I think he kind of gets flack for like being competent. I think almost because he just like the operation is so smooth, and he's so accurate with the ball. And I think he's got a pretty good arm. Like to me, like he's got a stronger arm than Matt Ryan did. And he's definitely definitely more athletic. Yeah. So if you're like B+, A- arm, can operate at a very high level, ball's out on time. I think he gets a lot of like the statue criticisms because he plays so well that he doesn't like they don't need to do like the off schedule stuff, And you see them like steamrolling these teams.
It's a great point.
He's like, he can't run. I was like, well, they have a quarterback run game in their red zone package. Like I've seen him run draws on first down. I've seen him run read options, stuff like that. I've seen him scramble on 3rd and long and get away from defenders. So I think he doesn't run stuff. It's more like, no. They're so clean that like they don't have any off schedule plays really outside of like the Penn State game. And then what happened then? Maybe the best throw of the season to ice it. So, this is a top 5 pick to me. I think if you're kind of getting too into the weeds, sometimes like maybe people will nitpick him, but at the end of the day, he's going to be a top 5 pick, and I think he deserves it. Like if I'm a team that's in that top 5 range, and he falls like 3 or 4, I wouldn't really blink about picking him. I think he's pretty good.
I think too is that they run a lot of RPOs, and he has a lot of success on it. And I think he's getting dinged on that too, where they go, oh, it's an RPO heavy offense, which is, I agree of that assessment of people being like, yeah, it's RPO heavy. Always, that's an alarm bell. Like, all right, I want to make sure is that you're only getting success on RPOs, or are you able to do other stuff? And that's why I'm so encouraged when he has to drop back, especially on like 3rd downs or in the red zone. He's on the money. Like he's so good. Like he reads defenses. He can handle protections, and then the ball's coming out. Like so, I think we're speaking the same thing here. That he gets knocked sometimes for being boring or being like, oh, he's not dynamic. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. That he's not as dynamic as a top 5 guy. But it's like he doesn't have to be because he's operates so on time. So it's pro style as a compliment, but it doesn't mean that he's not dual threat and can't run and that he's just Drew Bledsoe back there. So yeah, I think we're speaking the same thing here, but I just really like him, man. I think I would put Mendoza, like he's probably around like Blake Bortles speed to me, which is fine, like 4.7, 4.8 range. And that's fast enough to run. Like I think sometimes we've forgotten, you don't need to be like a 4 or 5 guy to run. Like there's been a lot of guys who have been that fast, like entered the league recently, but like he can hit 4.8, he can get a first down. Yeah. Baker Mayfield's a 4.8 guy, 4.8 and change. Yeah. And he's been he's thicker, but he's a solid scrambler. Matt was a good scrambler too. Matt was really good at throwing on the move and scrambling, even though he was a 4.8 guy, probably, It's just that goofy build, that long, gangly build. That's why it's like I just look at it where they're better athletes than you'd expect. But yeah, Mendoza just good, high floor, and I think a higher ceiling than I think he's getting credit for. I don't know. I really like him with the Jets because I think he could just be with that O-line. I think he'd just be really like a steadying force for that franchise. I think he can just handle it. I think the other quarterbacks that I had in my top 30. And I think kind of more consensus, more or less, as I looked around. I had Lenore Sellers as my next guy up. I don't know what's going to go on with him. South Carolina's been a mess this year. They fired their offensive line coach, fired their OC, Mike Shula, and he is a one-man team there. But I think he's great. I really do. I think his tape's better than Anthony Richardson's. I know he's going to get a lot of comparisons to that because I think he understands football better. I think he gets he runs around too much, but when you watch him on film, it's like, well, no one's getting open, or he's throwing the ball away a lot. I think he has one of the highest rates of throwaways in the entire FBS right now, and I think that's growth. And he's super young for his grade, and I know he might transfer, but to me, I was doing the math. I was talking to Bomani Jones about this. I was doing the math a bit. And I was like, man, if you're a top 20 pick, and you can like kind of get that you're top 20. You're going to make more money than you are in NIL. Like 2025, the number 20 pick got $18 million over 4 years, $3.2 million his first year. Say it goes up $500,000 to like 3.6, 3.7 for this year's draft class. Are you going to get $4 million for the next 4 years or above for the next 4 years? If not, if no, declare. And I think Sellers, especially if he goes through the cycle, because again, on rewatch, he's so much better than it comes across even with the highs of watching him on TV. But I think he just understands playing quarterback and playing football a little bit better than he gets credit for. So I keep him in my top 10 because I just think he has a real chance to be a real good one if he gets into a better ecosystem.
Yeah, I like Sellers too. I think it's interesting because I think people are also down because South Carolina was supposed to be one of those teams that like really exploded this year and potentially made a push for the playoffs.
Like a fun surprise. Yeah.
No. Because I know because those Gamecocks fans, they were looking at like we went 9-3 last season. You know, we had a strong close to the year, got our quarterback back, and nope, you're not that good. He's got an interesting decision because I'm with you, man. Like the NIL stuff, I think people are taking that discussion without any ounce of like thought sometimes. If you're gonna be a first round pick, you should go to the draft. You should absolutely go to the draft. Like
it's guaranteed.
Because
your rookie contract is guaranteed.
So because I'm talking to, it's funny because I was talking to one of my friends who I'm going to see this week, who's like, he's a smart football guy, you know, but he's also a Shador guy. So he's like, man, he's like, man, like maybe he's like, this Brown situation is so bad, like it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good right now. But, you know, maybe like these NIL guys, like instead of playing for the Browns, you'll go back to college. Like, not if you're a first round pick. Not if you are a first round pick. No. Like if you're Fernando Mendoza and the Browns end up having the fourth pick, dude, that's a $40 million contract. What the hell are you talking about going back to school? No, you're not. No, you're not. So like if you're a second round pick though, maybe.
Correct.
But the difference is, like, Bryce Underwood got the NIL deal as a freshman, but if you're a 22-year-old junior, no one's giving you a 4-year, $10 million deal, so you still might as well declare then. You know, it's just a sliding scale. I think people just need a little bit more nuance when they think about NIL and draft decisions, because it's really only the 18-year-olds coming right out of high school that are getting that, second round money.
And quarterbacks, you know, like if you're like a good receiver or a tackle, it's like they're going to declare, like defensive linemen, like those guys are getting paid more. I get it. Like, you know, you see tackles now getting like $1 million. But I agree with you that it's like, have you looked at rookie contracts too? It's not like rookies are making, I think people are thinking like what a third rounder makes or like a fifth rounder makes. It's like first round guys are getting a lot of money. And again, it's 100% guaranteed. And it's a 4-year deal plus the team option for the 5th year if you're a first rounder. But if you're an NIL, like some of those are 1-year contracts. So it's all right. Am I going to take $4 million this year, $3 million this year? Give or take 3 to 5 seems to be the range. Or can I get 3.8 my first year and then 4.8 my second year, and then boom, that's even more. I mean, just an economics thing. If you, again, it's a bet, you know, it's a gamble. But if you're good enough, like I think Sellers is, I think once Sellers gets into the cycle and like coaches and higher end scouts start watching him, they go, oh my God. And I think he'll interview really well. I think they give him pre-snap stuff. Like that's the thing. He's not as project-y as I think he's getting made out to be. I actually think he's pretty accurate. He had a couple sprays in this last game. Some slant stuff when he gets pressured, he'll short step and throw some high balls. But again, he's young, and I actually think he's accurate overall. And I think he handles pre-snap stuff. I don't know. To me, he's a guy that was like, oh man, he's not having a great year. And then I watched him all 22, and I was like, all right, hold the fort, hold the phone. All right, hold on now. No, this guy's top 10, man. Like I don't know what we're doing here. And I mean, between those two, and everyone's going, oh, it's a down receiver class. I was like, I don't know. Those are two interesting flavors to me. It feels kind of like a variation of the Stroud-Richardson combo. And I know Richardson's been underwhelming as a pro, but I think Sellers' tape is way higher than what Richardson showed, on top of having the 6'4", 250 pounds, can run a 4.4 legitimately. Like he's his arm and stuff is so good. Also, or who else do we have? Okay, Dante Moore from Oregon, a guy that I think he could go back, and I could understand it, back to Oregon, but the growth he's shown so far this year, that's like his arrow is pointing so hard up. like just way up, because another guy that as reps are coming, my biggest, I'll start with my blemish with him before I get into strengths, was I didn't think he was aggressive enough. I thought that he understood a concept, but would get to check downs, would pepper stuff to the outside rather than try like a bender. Like a good example is like a four verts concept. Like and they would run like little stop routes on the outside. So rather than maybe peppering in a seam bender for like a big 20-yard Dak Prescott type throw, he would just always defer to the outside or maybe check it down. I was like, okay, his timing's good, all right. But now, as he's getting comfortable, all right, now I'm seeing a little bit more aggression. So his arrow, he's QB3 for me, and I think his arrow is like firmly up. And where I have him as like a top 15 guy, and I feel pretty good about that right now. Maybe a month ago, I was like, yeah, he's shown a lot, but we'll see. I like more a lot. I can't figure out a comparison for him. But there's somebody he reminds me of, and I'll figure it out by the time the draft happens or by the time next year he comes out. But Dante Moore from Oregon, it's a good team too. But I really do think his tape is just getting better and better every week. Accurate, good understanding of a concept, and a good arm. I would say not overwhelming, but a good arm. Just checks a lot of boxes for me.
Yeah, he's solid. I've watched. See, I did watch some of the USC game, but the last Oregon game I really sat down and watched was the Penn State game. I thought he was pretty strong, in the back half of that game to kind of bounce back for some mistakes. So I'm a fan of him. But again, anytime you see a guy, he's really only started one season. You never know with that. Yep. So I wouldn't be surprised if he goes back too.
I don't either. He's more to me, like Sellers to me is like, I understand he should transfer or he's just got to get out of South Carolina. That's how I make it. To me, it's like, no, I get it if you do go back and you just want to put more tape because it's just, he's adding layers right now. And then we'll see kind of how it goes next year. It reminds me of Stroud a little bit. When Stroud was at Ohio State, but Stroud was started as a redshirt freshman. And then that first game, I remember he had a rough first game and then it just kind of kept building and building and building. And then the second year was a lot more polished. Moore's got they're not one-to-one play style, but just as far as maybe just the path that they're taking and then the growth that they're showing. But yeah, Moore's good. It's almost like, I think my comparison for him is like a juiced up Teddy Bridgewater. That's where I'm going with right now. Like a Teddy Bridgewater on steroids. That's kind of what I'm going with Dante Moore. Like I mean that as a high compliment. Like I mean that as a really good compliment. It's like that's a top 15 player to me. So that's maybe what I'm going with here. The last QB that I had my top 20, top 30, Tice Simpson from Alabama. He's been a big riser. Dude will spin it, fire that football. He's super aggressive and just understands how to play. Has some accuracy misses at times, and also is not the biggest. He's listed 6'2", 208, and when I watch him on film, I'm going to guess that he's 6'1", 200. But man, like just a good football player, willing to spin it, aggressive. He's real high in other people's boards. He's QB4 to me because of some of the size and accuracy stuff I have with him. But I just really like watching him play because how aggressive he is. But I know it hurts you to talk about Alabama. But what do you think about Tice Simpson, Chuck, when you've seen him?
Small. What? No, it's not. I mean, he's good. Yeah. He's small.
He's small.
He's a good player. Yeah, he's a good player. It's funny because Nick Saban, he was on game day a few months ago, and he was like, "Damn," he's like, "I should start Ty." He's like, I look pretty stupid. I'm not leaving this guy on the bench when we were struggling with Jalen. I was like, "Damn, that's a crazy stray." But I don't even think that he's wrong because it's just there's so much more consistency with the passing game than they had last year. The floor is a lot higher, and even in that game they lost to Oklahoma. Dude, they still had almost 500 yards of offense in that game. I thought he played well outside of the interceptions, which is obviously the big caveat. But just as I don't think I would draft him that high because I still get worried about the upside. And man, I'm just tired of doing these cycles where you get the guy and he's kind of competent, but he's not good enough. And then we argue for 4 years, and then you extend them, and then everyone's unhappy. So let's just bump them down to the second round, like we used to do, and I think that's fine.
That's how I had him graded, more of an early day 2 guy, and but he's a quarterback, so you bump him up, 10, 15 spots, and that's how I feel about him. I appreciate his aggressiveness. I love it. The dude's got balls. He's willing to try some stuff, and I'm always going to love quarterbacks like that, but I'm also trying to be realistic. It's even the Vanderbilt game where he had a great game, he starts with a pick. and he starts with like 3 misses. And that's the thing. I see those as well as I see the highs. So, if you're going to be aggressive, and he has a good arm, I think I would even say a very good arm. Like, it's surprising because it's like Pedro Martinez, where he's not very big, and all of a sudden this ball's firing out of there. But just have to be realistic about the size. Just have to, because good athlete, but again, in the NFL, it's a different game. A good athlete and a big body is different than a good athlete and a smaller body, especially at the NFL. So I think of him as maybe just a half tier different than maybe the other guys. But I do understand why people like him. I like him. Maybe I just don't love him. I'm trying to be a little bit more realistic. I also want to have one last thing before. Well, and then the others is Brendan Sorsby from Cincinnati. I have him as like a day 2 guy, an interesting day 2 guy. I think maybe needs a little more time. And then USC's quarterback, Jaden Mayava, Vegas local. He went to the high school right down the road from me. No, he's interesting as well, but I look at him as more of a day 2 guy. But I do think he does some nice things. I also want to say, though, I know people consider this guy the biggest bust in college football history. Arch Manning, if he were to declare, I don't think he will, would be the number 1 pick or the first quarterback selected. I'm saying that right now, and I'm not saying I'm not hot taking this right now. I'm dead serious. He is playing really freaking good football. And I know people see the end game stuff and all that. Tools, body of work, he's the whole freaking offense at Texas. His ability to create, his pocket movement, his deep ball ability, his ability to throw awkward angles, his ridiculous core strength. Yeah, he would be the number 1 pick. He's really freaking good, guys. So I know the hype train has cooled down, but it should start building right back up because, Arch Manning, really, really
the Georgia game. The Georgia game, he was really good. And it's just funny to see how fast people forget what they watched, because Kirby set out in that game to embarrass Steve Sarkisian. That was the plan. Whatever beef that they have going on, they clearly don't like each other. Kirby's goal was to embarrass Sark in that game. So when you get to the second half, why did they only score 10 points? You just forgot that fast that Georgia kicked the onside and had the ball almost the entire second half. Arch Manning didn't touch the ball from 14-10 to 28-4, or what was it, 14-10 to 28-10. He didn't touch the ball. It's what are you guys talking about here, man? It's I get so frustrated that it's not just sports. It's all over the place. You guys don't remember what the hell you just saw 2 minutes ago. What's going on, guys?
It's crazy.
What's going on?
It's aren't we all watching this? I see my timeline. You guys are reacting to the same things I'm reacting to.
How do you forget that fast?
I'm with you. The Arch thing has been crazy. I have people trash talking me every week and acting like he's playing bad. And I'm like, are we watching the games? This dude just would have 3 throws in a row that are just unbelievable, and people are going, and then maybe a miss or a pick happens or Texas loses, something happens. They're like, you're trying to hype up Arch Manning again, huh, Nate Tice? Nepo baby. And I'm just are you kidding me? Are we watching the same
what you
stuff?
do when you got nothing going on in your life, man. These people are so bored. They're just so bored. I'll do chirp on there all day.
I don't want to say it go too high because purple chip is my highest compliment, but he's on his way to being a purple chip type of prospect. That's how good Arch Manning is. And I'm dead serious, guys. The core strength that he plays with. That's the word I just want to come back to. How he throws off platform. It's so good. But anyways, we're going to take our first break. But first, check us out on the Yahoo Sports Network, available to stream on leading fast services or yahoosports.tv. All right, we're going to take our first break, and then we'll get to our Thanksgiving and Black Friday primers. See you guys in a second. All right, we are back, or I am back. Just a little peek behind the curtain. Recording this, Charles had to go make his flight, so I just want to talk about some trench play real quick, even though Chuck likes his trench play as well. 2026 class, though. The offensive line class taking a little step back. No one's really kind of stepped up and taken that offensive tackle or offensive lineman one mantle. The first guy I'll talk about is kind of the de facto favorite to be the first lineman taken, but I'm curious with this tackle class as well. First is Francis Maligoa from Miami. He plays right tackle for them, but I project him as a guard. And I think I'm not alone in that assessment. Good. Like that's how I describe Maligoa. Just a good physical guard, moves pretty well, got pretty light feet, maybe has some length stuff. That's why I picture him more on the inside. But he's had probably the most consistent year of guys that were projected, I would say, as a top 20 guy or top 30 guy going into this class. I would give him a shot to stick out a tackle, but I do think that he is more of an interior line player, and I think a good one as well, but could see him being a pretty easy first-round pick. The next, I want to talk about some tackles, and then I want to talk about some 2 Utah tackles. First, these two have been kind of neck and neck. Most have favored Spencer Fano, right tackle for Utah. He did suffer an injury recently, but he is. I compared him to Spencer Brown from the Bills, where he's long and lean. Like he's not thin, but he's kind of is built very linear. As far as just his doesn't have like really thick legs. It really matters to me because of just how offensive tackles and how they're built and everything. Really explosive out of his stance. I would say a very good athlete with some real pop, explosiveness. I do things too. He has some rigidness as far as when he has to adjust to pass rushers. And so that's maybe why I kind of keep him as maybe he's my tackle 2, because my tackle 1 is his teammate, Caleb Lomu, who plays left tackle at Utah. And I understand that, most have this flipped where Fano is 1 and Lomu is 2 or even lower. But I'm going to stand on it. Lomu is my tackle 1 going into this year, and I stick with that because even watching these guys as the season has gone along, I think his tape has been very good. I know he has to add some play strength, but he has a good build. I think he has pretty good length as well. Light feet, just knows how to play left tackle, and he just moves like a left tackle. And I just really like Lomu. And he's a redshirt sophomore. He walked out with the seniors at Utah this past week, so obviously declaring. I think that's pretty easy indicator there. But I think he is. I'm hoping that maybe once we see some line coaches get their eyes on him, maybe they agree with me, but we'll see. But to me, he's a top 12, top 14-ish guy. But I think he is the guy that has a shot to be a franchise left tackle. And I think it's significant if you're just narratively scouting this, that Fano was the left tackle and had to move to right tackle because Lomu was playing left tackle. And don't you usually want your best guy at left tackle? I don't know. Just my little narrative scouting there. But just watching him, I think he's just such a balanced. Balance is maybe the best word for him. Just balanced with good technique, good hand placement. Just has to add a little strength. But he's a redshirt sophomore, and I think he's already improved in that regard. Yeah, but he's the guy I have just kept my eye on. And really even games like they play Texas Tech this year. Sorry, also just an aside to anyone listening to this, it's very strange to be doing a podcast by yourself after you're talking about offensive linemen. But I watched him in a game against Texas Tech, and a lot of people, because of the opponents there, were making assessments, like, oh my God, Lomu and Fano were just getting owned. I rewatched it, and I thought Lomu actually did really well. Even some of the plays that looked like highlights on the TV copy on all 22, it looked like, no, Lomu was actually recovering, and the quarterback moved aside, which actually is a win against like an inside move. But he's the guy that I'm going to stand on as tackle 1 because I think his tape has been real good this year. That's really the lineman. There's one more, actually. Oh, man, maybe I didn't want to do it because I can't say his name. Olavaviga Ione. He's a guard from Penn State, just a mauler, just strong. Another guy that is a top 30 guy to me. But these 4 are kind of the guys that I feel like are kind of cut above everybody else in this class. There's some interesting names. There's guys like Isaiah World from Oregon. There's guys like Caden Proctor from Alabama, but those guys to me have dropped off to more day 2 guys. They might crop back up because I have them graded day 2. They might go in the 20s because everybody needs offensive linemen, and those guys have ability. Like World is so talented and Proctor's so big, but their tape has just been so inconsistent this year. So we'll see kind of how their process goes. Defensively, I know. We got to talk about this. I know we just talked about offensive linemen, so let's talk about defense. Arvell Reese, linebacker / edge from Ohio State. He is my number 1 defensive. Oh, that's a lie. He's my number 1 linebacker on the board. He's number 2 overall. And I think he's number 1 on several other pieces, other people's boards. He is a freak. He is a monster. He is a football player all the way. This Ohio State defense is so much fun to watch. It's a good linebacker class overall. Sonny Styles is his teammate. He might be a first-round linebacker as well. But Reese is just a front seven player. If you like Jalen Walker last year that went to the Falcons, Reese is like a half step better than that. He can play off-ball linebacker. I think he can be fine. I think he can make a living as an edge player as well. But in today's day and age of how defenses play, that he can play anywhere. And the defenses will know how to use him. He's just a front seven demon, defensive weapon. Really how he moves and how he hits and how explosive he is and what a rare athlete he is. I compared him to Jalen Smith from Notre Dame, who the Cowboys drafted. And I know Jalen Smith as an NFL player, he was good until he kind of fell apart. But him coming out of college before his knee exploded, he got cheap shot in a bowl game. Before he got injured, he was probably the best linebacker prospect I've ever watched. And I would even say maybe one of the best defensive prospects I've ever watched any position. Just how athletic he was. I've posted clips. If anyone's curious on Twitter, just look up Jalen Smith, Nate Tice. I have a couple clips of him. Just as far as that, the defensive weapon that can blow up the run, blow up the pass, can run in coverage, can just do anything you want to do at a high level. So yeah, Reese is just awesome. He's not my number one defensive player on the board, because my number one defensive player on the board and number one player overall on my midseason big board at least was Keldrick Falk, edge from Auburn. I really like Falk. People have been comparing him to Mykel Williams from Georgia last year, and I think Falk is more dynamic than that. I think also Falk has more polish than that. Falk is going into the year, I was curious about his hand usage, curious about his play strength. I wanted to just kind of see a little bit more, and he's shown more to me. Auburn's been a mess this year, but Falk hasn't. He can line up across the defensive front. He can be an outside 9 technique and rush the passer. He can line up in 2 gap, like in a 3-4 front. He can line up over the center on pass rush fronts. He can kind of do it all. He's built like an idealistic 4-3 defensive end. And when I say that, 6'4", 6'5", 280, 290. So he's more of a D end than an outside linebacker at edge, if that matters to you guys that are listening to this. But no, Falk to me, I'm kind of an island as him as my number one player overall. It's me and Fran Duffy who covers the draft as well. But I think Falk is just, he's good, really good against the run. He plays hard, which matters, but also he has high-end athletic ability, and his pass rushing technique, he's now developed more moves. I thought he was a one-trick pony as a pass rusher last year, and now this year he's added kind of some change-ups, some stuff to his arsenal, and you can really see him rushing the passer and create pressures. And even games where it doesn't look productive, he's still affecting the passer. There's a game he finished with 1 tackle, and it might have been his best film. I want to say it was against Georgia, actually. And in that game, he only has 1 tackle. But then if you watch it back, it's like he impacted the game on 12 different plays where he's hurrying the quarterback or creating something. I think Falk is really, really good. And it matters, I think, when you're a guy that's built like that and that athletic and you play hard, like that's infectious. Like, our best athletes also our hardest worker. There's something to that, at least to me. Also, really young for his grade as well. That matters as well. How much room to growth, how much more he can tap into. I'm really high on him, really bullish on him. That's why he's my number one player. Ruben Bain has one of the best defensive films this year as far as production. From Miami, he's an edge player. I compare him to Brandon Graham, old Eagles favorite. I think they kind of have similar play styles and similar builds. He's power. But I think he's shown a little bit more this year. He also can kick inside on pass rush stuff, but he is power all the way and explosiveness, firing out of the stance, just blowing guys back, knocking them back into the pocket, knocking them back into the quarterback. Bain's a fun player as well, tough player. I had him as a top 5 player. He's a top 10 pick all the way. I think his length might be his biggest blemish. Doesn't have ideal bend, but he has good bend. But those are just kind of picking nits, in regards to him. So that's why I have him below Falk and have him below Reese, but still a very good player. And if we move on, I should have mentioned too, I said Sonny Styles and Reese. It's a good linebacker class. CJ Allen from Georgia, Jake Galladay from Cincinnati. I would say there might be 5 top 50 linebackers this year, which is crazy. We've had drafts where it's like 2 in the top 100, something of that sort. So linebacker class is really good. And I know there's a lot of talk about dime personnel right now, but linebackers are coming. Don't you worry. Caleb Downs, awesome player, safety from Ohio State. Josh Downs' brother. Watch Ohio State's defense, and you just watch this guy wherever he lines up. Budda Baker is probably his pro comparison, but Downs is even more dynamic and explosive than Baker, which is saying something. He's just they unlock him, let him line up all over. He'll, on one snap, be running down the middle like a Mike linebacker. On the next play, he's near the line of scrimmage. Next play, he's a deep half safety. The guy's just what they used to call a monster back. Find ball, get ball. And that's what Caleb Downs is. I know safeties, it's weird how to grade them. It's kind of like running backs of defense, but like Downs is just a football player. And again, kind of like Reese in the front seven, that's what Downs is on the back seven, where it's just like line them up anywhere and let them make plays. Maybe not outside corner, but on the interior, line them up anywhere in there and let them make plays. So any creative defensive coordinator is going to have so much fun with him because he's just such a cool football player. It's, again, using some narrative stuff here. If you're playing as a freshman DB for Nick Saban, I know he's at Ohio State now, but he was at Bama before. For Nick Saban, that's saying something. That really is saying something. So yeah, Caleb Downs, so cool, such a good player. Outside of that, just wrapping up the defensive players. Jamal McCoy, corner for Tennessee, he's been hurt, but still a very talented corner. There's a few interesting corners in this class. I haven't really been able to pull the trigger on which one's my favorite. Mansour Delane from LSU has had a really good year. Avian Terrell, AJ Terrell's little brother, really feisty corner from Clemson. He's not that big, but he plays big. And he's fast and twitchy. Just a player that plays bigger than his size and is just a good player as well. It's an interesting corner class. There's a couple good guys, but all of them have just like a little bit of a blemish that just none of them are kind of that overwhelming top 10 guy. McCoy could be, but he's also dealing with an injury from last year. Other than that, we're wrapping up this. Peter Woods was my player one going into the season, defensive tackle from Clemson. Clemson, and let's pay attention to college football, been a very frustrating year, but he still is super talented. Maybe saving himself a little bit for the pros. We'll see. Might have a little bit of that going on. Can line up outside a little bit, but I think he's just a gap shooting defensive tackle that can also maul. Like, he can kind of do what you want. He is just so light-footed for how big he is. I think he'll be a better pro than what he's shown this year in college. But I don't know. He's hard to drop out of your top 10, because of just how he moves and what he plays like and what he can do. I think just Clemson's just had a really frustrating year. The last guy I want to talk about is David Bailey. I mentioned him a second ago, talking about the Utah tackles. Texas Tech threw a lot of money around, and you could feel it when you watch Texas Tech and you watch it with David Bailey, who's an edge player. He was at Stanford, kind of a DPR, designated pass rusher type, and now you kind of just get to see him kind of cranking it up and playing more downs. I think he's improved against the run. He is not Josh Uche, where it's just like, oh my God, he's on the field, run right at him, or Bryce Huff. I think he has high-end pass rush ability, and he's fine against the run. He's average. He tries. He can get moved on double teams. But if you're talking about the tight end or just kind of like, a weak offensive tackle, he can hold his own and hold the point and more disruptive against it than, a guy that's going to set the edge. But I do think he's fine in that regard. He was a top 15 player for me in the midseason big board, but easily a first rounder just because of his pass rush juice and what he can bring. But yeah, that is the offensive line and the defense for the 2026 class. A little bit of primer for you guys, for anyone that's interested. There's more guys out there, but these are guys I just wanted to focus on and talk about. It's an interesting class on these sides of the ball. There's a lot of good, and I just want to see kind of who rises. There's a lot of guys I have graded, maybe not as true blue chips, but like light blue, high green, I think would be the best way to put it. But that is rounding out our draft primer. We're going to take a break, and I'll come back with Chuck, and we'll get you guys going with some cheat sheet items for the Thanksgiving games and Black Friday. All right, we are back. It's time for a little holiday cheat sheet. This is one thing to watch in each of the Thanksgiving and the Black Friday games, because we got that now. Good crop of games that we got on Turkey Day and Black Friday on capitalism holiday. This is what we call Black Friday.
Kill each other at the mall day.
Consume. Consume, Morty.
Like, getting more flashbacks of that before online shopping was as big as it was. Like, my mom and her sisters just, let's go to Walmart at 6 a.m. Dude, no. No.
No,
I'm
no.
just not going to be doing that anymore. It's ridiculous.
Never. I have already made a couple Cyber Monday purchases or Cyber Week, anything, but no, I'm never going in person physical shopping at all. I grew up in Minneapolis, so you had the Mall of America, and we had another place called Southdale Mall. No, that would be insane. But anyways, Packers at Lions, NFC North, really good game between two of the best teams in the NFC. Maybe a step below what those Rams are doing right now, but the Lions are 2.5-point favorites at home at Ford Field. I think Jack White's playing music. They had interesting musical groups for these games, but over under 49 points. What's your one thing for this game, Chuck?
Man, I think with this game, like the Lions are kind of confusing to me because on one hand, like it was impressive to see them. It was impressive to see them like close out that win against the Giants. But what in the world is going on where like James Winston is throwing for all these yards? I know that James like at times can be like a classically good quarterback, but he's still not good. Like that shouldn't be happening. He should never be dunking on you and making guys miss the open field and running after the catch for touchdowns. So I guess with this Lions game, I want to see them bounce back. Overall, they've had a good defense this year. Like Calvin Shepard has done a good job, and it's not like he's under fire or not going to come back next year or anything. No. But just to bounce back from that, you have to, because if you're also the Packers, you're looking at like, man, they just let James Winston carve them up. And last week they didn't have to do much against the Vikings, so maybe they opened up a little bit more. And I just want to see, I guess both teams play, I don't know, better, but just sharper than they did, because they felt like the Packers in that game, they're not doing anything on offense. We can just kind of go on autopilot and cruise through this game. And when you just look at, you can start comparing just offense and defense on both sides. These are two of the best teams in the NFL on down-and-down basis. And I just want to see them play like it because, some of these Thanksgiving games on in the morning up and slop. Like, if we can get better than Matt Eberflus forgetting to call timeouts, a game mentally dominated by a rookie quarterback, then I'll take that as a win.
I'll never forget that game. I'll never ever forget that
crying
game.
To reporters, Caleb didn't want to call a timeout. Are you the head coach or what, bro? Be a man. Come on.
I know. Like, what do you say you do here? I am with you. I mean, aren't you? Who's the boss? Who's the captain here? I would say these two teams. Yeah, okay. My first notes on this game are all about injuries. Jayden Reed might be back for the Packers. We'll see. It would be significant. And I think Dobbs practiced as well. The Lions injury report is absolutely ridiculous. It's like, here's a wrestling reference. Chris Jericho's 1,004 holds. It just goes on and on, just a long list. Graham Glasgow did not participate in practice on Monday, likely a rest day, but Kirby Joseph didn't practice. Khalif Raymond got hurt. Chris Mahogany is already on IR. Sam Laporta is already on IR, but potentially getting back Malcolm Rodriguez and DJ Moore. So huge, especially for a team that at times can struggle against the Packers. I think that's interesting. Reed was kind of their man coverage guy, but again, DJ Reed, that's why you signed DJ Reed, because he's a man coverage guy and he's just been hurt. Marcus Davenport's also practicing for the Lions. So again, confusing is the right way to put the Lions. When we did our recap show, it's hard to talk about because they've had some struggles running the ball because this is the worst Lions run game since Dan Campbell's gotten there. But then that's the same day that Jahmyr Gibbs goes for 200 plus. So it's kind of like, their defense is elite. But they're giving up, Jameis Winston spin dunk over touchdowns. Oh, by the way, Derek Barnes on that play, we joked about it. Allowing the Jameis Winston touchdown. He wasn't even supposed to be covering him. He was just doing he was being heads up and just being aware. He was like, oh my God, Jameis Winston's running free. I got to run with him. So it's like one of these things where it's like, yeah, no good deed goes unpunished. I'm going to cover our defense's asses. And then I get dunked on and crossed over. They went up a score. It's like he wasn't even supposed to be here today. Colton Pouncey, who I used to work with at The Athletic, had a great stat about the Lions passing game. Only 6.8% of the Lions' pass attempts this season have traveled 20 or more air yards, 32nd in the NFL per True Media. It's currently the 4th lowest rate in the single season over the last decade. And that's kind of how it feels at times. They attack the intermediate areas. Jared Goff's never going to be a go ball, post ball thrower. He wants to throw dig routes. He wants to throw overs. And they also have no PIs in this offense because of that. But it does feel like that's missing from the offense at times, and especially when the run game has just been inconsistent. Even statistically, it's just been very inconsistent. Mahogany's now hurt. Like, the interior of the offensive line, you can attack, but the thing is the Packers, that's kind of the weak point of their defense, especially Carl Brooks might be hurt. So it's kind of it's anti-Haas fight, reverse Haas fight a little bit with the interior of the Lions offensive line and the Packers defense right there. And I think it's just a fun battle between the Packers offense that does what they do. They're going to try and grind it out on the run game, run a lot of counter and duo and stuff that's at you, and going against a Lions defense that's going to line up on base and go like, okay, all right, it is a Haas fight on that side. Like, they're just going to, it's two sides. They're just going to throw haymakers at each other or just punch each other in the jaw. So it's going to be pretty fun, pretty brutal type of matchup on that side. I'm pretty excited to watch it. And also the Packers defense. These are two of the best tackling teams in the NFL. Two of the top 3 as far as missed tackle rates and yardage and everything. And the Packers they allow a low success rate on throws that are under 20 yards. So that stat I just said of not deep balls, they allow the 6th lowest success rate throws under 20 yards. So again, strength on strength in that regard as well. So fun game. I'm excited to watch this one. These are two of the classy teams of the NFC. Got some Jordan Love going against Shepard, going against all that man coverage that the Lions want to win. The Packers receivers got to beat it. Watson's got to be it. Dobbs got to be it. Somebody's got to beat it, because that is the one bugaboo of this passing game right now. That's why they're missing Tucker Kraft so much too. Predictions: Lions 2.5-point favorites.
I'm gonna go Lions. I don't know. There's just I think I'm just gonna go Lions because they're home. That's it. Yeah,
that's fair. I'll go Packers,
they're close.
But I don't feel good about it. This is a very evenly matched game. These are two good teams. They're two of the best teams. Yeah. Like, they really are. In the NFL. I know that's crazy to say, but
I need Jordan Love to just not do anything stupid in front of all of our friends and family. Please, man. I don't like arguing about him. It's not fun, but he just does so many stupid things that people can't get on board with. But I promise you guys, he's really good. He's just going to do things that are going to lose you some games.
Really good. He's really good. He's really good.
He can win you games just as much as he wants to lose them.
He's first in EPA per dropback, and I had multiple people go like, hey, why does Jordan Love have so high in EPA? It's like, because he chucks the ball and he doesn't take sacks. Like, that's a pretty good formula. Yeah. Like, I know it looks funky sometimes. I know he does some outlandish stuff, but the good far outweighs the bad. Like, his good is so good. Like, he's a top 7-8 quarterback, pretty locked in. Like, he's really good, guys.
When they get to the playoffs, just don't throw it to the linebackers this year, Jordan. Don't throw it to the linebackers. They're going to make fun of you. And then I can't help you because you keep doing it.
I know. I understand. He had the 3rd and 10. He beats the blitz against the Vikings. And it's like, see, that's great. But if that gets picked off, he's going to get clowned like crazy. But it's like, hey, it's a denominator thing with him. All right, we'll move on now. This is the TV network Super Bowl outside the Super Bowl. We got the Chiefs at the Cowboys at Jerry World. The Cowboys are 3-point favorites. This one's on CBS. So, yeah, I'm sure they're giddy. The over-under is 52. Hell yeah. 52-point pickup. Yes, Chiefs are favored by a field goal. I should have said that. Yeah, Cowboys are underdogs at home. 3-point underdogs. My fault. But no, Chiefs-Cowboys should be a very fun game. What do you think? What do you got for this one, Chuck?
I'm here for Chiefs O-line and Cowboys D-line, which I didn't think I would be 2 months ago. But Quinn's like playing out of his mind, and like that is just such a game changer to have a wrecking ball back up front for them. So it gives them a chance to go toe to toe with a pretty good Chiefs offensive line, and that's kind of what I'm looking for here. I think that's gonna be a lot of fun, and then obviously also like just the chess match between Dak and Spags. But if you just like the beat 'em up stuff, I think Chiefs O-line, Cowboys D-line is the place to be.
Yeah, no, I'm oh, man, that game was a lot of fun to rewatch. The Cowboys Eagles game. I thought the Cowboys run game got going. I think just a lot of stuff they're doing. Defense against the Eagles, they really did play well. Up front, Quinn Williams is a monster going against that Chiefs O-line. Everything you've mentioned this about a few times. They also mess around with some of their front stuff, which is cool to get all their guys on the field. Kenny Clark on the field, also Gazua on the field. And every guy had a nice moment. You mentioned that on the Sunday show. But Quinnen, Osa, Clark, Dante Fowler is playing well. Clowney is playing well. Set the edge. You can't run at them. Like, they're pretty good right now. It's kind of weird. Siobhan Ravel looked okay. Mm-hmm. He also wears number 34, which he doesn't look like a number 34 to me.
That's gonna change.
Maybe I'm just. He's not 34. I don't know. Like, how else to describe it? He doesn't move like a 34. He doesn't look like a 34. He's not a 34 in my brain, but he's 34. He's pretty good though. Like he was moving well with Brown and Devontae Smith and stuff. They caught some catches on him, but I did think he was moving well. The guy I wanted to bring up is on the Chiefs, because now they're really tweaking their defense about who plays. And Roland Wallace, that's his last name. I really like him at DB. He was playing in the slot for them, and I thought he had some nice moments against the run. So keep an eye on him for the Chiefs as they figure out their DBs, post-bye and figure out what's best for them. Chris Roland Wallace, but that's been such a weakness for them is the slot for the last 2 years, year and a half, depending on where they have McDuffie. So if McDuffie can now stay outside and you got Roland Wallace at slot, and now Chamari Connor doesn't have to play in the slot because now he can just play from Chamari Connor's good against the run, but he was so bad in coverage. So now if you get Roland Wallace, who's decent, that was interesting to me. I was watching that Colts game back. I was like, Roland Wallace really was getting in there, number 30. So yeah, keep an eye on him because it's just, that'll change the defense a little bit. They sort that back end out and they don't have those glaring weaknesses. That's significant, especially going against the Cowboys, who have CD freaking Lamb in the slot that could just torch you if you're not ready for it. On top of George Pickens versus McDuffie could be a really fun battle. The other guy I want to bring up is Leo Chanel. I had a little on-off splits for him, linebacker for the Chiefs. 3.8 yards per carry allowed when Chanel's on the field. Their expected yards per carry is 4.5, so that much further below. The 99 snaps he hasn't been on the field against the run, 4.7 yards per carry, 4.6 expected yards. So they allow more. But I just wanted to give a shout out to Leo Chanel because he's playing really well against the run, which matters in this game. All right, Chiefs 3-point favorites. Who you picking?
Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm going Chiefs as well, even if I think the Cowboys are a lot of fun. All right, Bengals, Ravens. Ravens 7-point favorites. Who are you going with there?
Ravens. Joe, please, come on, sit back down. What are you doing? You have a toe injury. Why are you coming back early? You're not going to be able to move. Lamar Jackson's obviously hurt too because he can't run away from anyone. But I'm going to take the Ravens.
Yeah, I'm going Ravens. I don't know if they cover, but I am going Ravens at 7 points. My one thing for this game is that the Ravens offense is just not right. They're allowing the highest sack rate. They have the highest stuff rate, the lowest gains of 4 or more yards, the lowest yards before contact since Lamar has been their starter. This has just been the most inconsistent Ravens offense pretty definitively since Lamar has been the starter. They're averaging a 4 or more yard gain on 47% of their plays, which is they've been above 50% every other year that he's been a starter. Yards before contact, 1.67. It was 2.41 last year. A full yard almost of a drop off. They've only dipped below 2 twice since Lamar has been a starter. There's just everything's just off with that offense right now. And it's just kind of I want to see them have a get right game before I kind of go okay, watch out for the Ravens. The defense is getting there, but this is going to be a test with Burrow. T. Higgins is out. Trey Hendrickson is out. So I just want to see the Ravens offense put together kind of a non-frustrating performance. It's really just more expectations than anything. This is the first time they've been below 40% rushing success rate since Lamar has been the starter. It's just the run game's got to get going. They got to figure it out. And maybe this is the game to do it, but we'll see with Lamar or with Joe being back there. Maybe we'll inspire Bengals. But yes, going on to the Black Friday game, Bears at Eagles. Eagles are also 7-point favorites at home. What's your one thing for this game before you head out, Chuck?
I think this is a tremendous get right game for the Eagles offense. The more I sat with it, I honestly, I fully understand them being favored by 7, and I would take them to cover that spread. Just severe talent advantage for the Eagles. The Bears defense has not been playing well. I mean, shoot, even last week against the Steelers, they didn't have a good game. And then you're potentially playing catch up against, like, the Bears offensive line is better. I don't know if I trust them to like stand tall and pass pro for a bunch of snaps against Jalen Carter, and some of the guys they have up front. So if it gets away from them, I could see Philly pouring it on, just because I really don't trust the Bears defense at all.
That's basically what I got for this game, because I'm kind of like, the Bears offense is a top 10 offense. And I keep saying it, and I keep putting it out in the world that they're a top 10 offense. They are. And they can run it really well. And also a shout out to Ozzie Trapilo, who played at left tackle for them, a rookie, and played really well against the Steelers. I meant to give him a shout out on Sunday, but that was significant. If he's actually a real football player, like, they've been using him as a jumbo, but that's huge. I trust this offense, even if it's not perfect yet, to probably put up some points against this Eagles defense, which is really good. But I think they can find some runs on them, especially the zone runs. I've seen the Eagles kind of be susceptible to some outside zone runs. I could maybe see the Bears get into that, but I just don't trust the Bears defense whatsoever. Even if the Eagles defense or offense is so frustrating and so inconsistent, the Bears defense is just, and I wish I could say like it's this or that. It's just they're injured. The back seven is just so hurt, and they can't really stop the stuff in between the tackles, in between the tackles. And I know the Bears have some feistiness at times, and the Eagles this is their down year as far as running the ball and everything. But again, like you said, this could be their get right game. I think the Bears do. Oh man, I don't know if they. Yeah, no, I think the Eagles win this game as well, just because I just don't trust that Bears defense. I do trust the Bears offense, and that Bears offense, Eagles defense can be a fun matchup, really fun matchup. But just the other side. Yeah, we'll see if the Bears can hold on, but even if the Eagles offense is just taking a step back. And make sure to look out for Colson Loveland too, going against the Eagles linebackers. I do think that Ben Johnson's doing a really good job of isolating him now. And I do think that there is, you can kind of get Nakobe Dean if he's in coverage. You can get these guys a little bit, depending on what the routes are, just kind of get them moved to side to side. So, look out for the Bears rookies. I think this could be a good game for them. And Monangai, the best run too outside those zone runs is duo runs against this Eagles defense, and Monangai's been pretty dang good on those. So Bears rookies, I guess, are keep an eye on for them. So I think we're both going with the Eagles there in that game. All right, closing it out today, we'll be celebrating with our families on Thursday. So we'll see you guys on Sunday for the live Week 13 recap. Thank you to everyone who listens to the show. Thankful for you guys. Thankful also to my guy Stone, who's with us every step of the way, and these group chats, sorting out the shows, dealing with me and Chuck's schedule, doing everything, keeping us online, keeping us on time as I ramble about third down screen usage and stuff like that. But thank you for everyone that listens to the show, everyone that works on the show. Thank you to Madison. Thank you to Austin. Thank you to Brett. Thank you to everybody that helps us out with the show. I really, really, truly appreciate you guys. I truly appreciate you guys listening to us. I'm Nate Tice. You can find me Nate_Tice. That was Charles McDonald. You can find him at 4Verts. I'm thankful for Chuck and Matt as well. Don't you guys worry. But make sure to subscribe to us, follow us, rate us, wherever you get your podcasts. I really appreciate that. Spotify, Apple, or wherever. Watch us on YouTube, on the Yahoo Sports YouTube channel. You can check out those Sunday live shows there as well. We always do it after the late afternoon games before Sunday Night Football. Even if Eagles Cowboys wants to go 4 hours, we'll still wait until that game is over. Do the show. So hang out with us there. It's a ton of fun. I really appreciate all of you guys that do. Happy Thanksgiving. Have a great weekend. See you guys next time.